Okay, so to make the color wheel, we're going to need our compass, a pencil, and a ruler. So the first thing we want to do is make sure that we are using a 14 by 11 inch piece of paper, or else the measurements won't make sense. So what I first want to do is I'm going to divide the paper vertically and horizontally to find the midpoint. We definitely don't want to do it diagonally because that won't set up our measurements to be correct when we need to divide it into 12 equal pie slices. So I'm going to put my ruler just at the bottom. Now something to note, my ruler doesn't start at the very edge of the ruler. My ruler actually starts just a little bit on the inside, so always double check yours. So my paper is 11 inches, so half of 11 is 5.5. I'll make a mark right at 5.5, and I'll go ahead and do the same thing at the top. You always want to make sure you are moving your ruler to the top or bottom of the page when you're measuring. We never want to start in the center because it could be a little bit off. So we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the sides. So it's 14 inches. So half of 14 is 7. I'm making little marks just at the 7. Now I'm doing my marks a little bit dark so you can see. You would want to do yours kind of light so you can erase them. So we have a line going that way and a line going vertically as well. Perfect, so we should have kind of 4 rectangles on our page at this point. So now what we're going to do is we need a 9-inch circle. So to get a 9-inch circle on our compass, we're going to set our compass to 4.5. So I'm just going to put the needle at the 0 and open up my compass until it opens to 4.5 inches. Just like that. So now I'm going to draw my outer circle. I'm going to place the needle right in the center, and we're going to draw our circle. I find it easier to kind of draw half the circle. Oops, I slipped. Then half going this way as well. Okay, so now we have our circle, and so without changing the compass at this point, I'm going to place the needle right here, 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 and here. So I'm going to place it there, and then I'm going to just move my needle up, my compass, and make a mark right there, and move it down and make a mark right there. Do the same thing. Move over here like that. I'm going to go ahead and redo these first ones because they're a little light. So we have these kind of little ticks that intersect the outside of the circle. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to kind of find where that line I made intersects the circle. I'm going to connect it through the center, and it should actually connect to one on the other side. And that's how we're going to get those 12 equal pie slices. Great. So now I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to set up the measurements for my other circles. So what I like to do is I just like to put my ruler right there from 1 to 4.5, And then the first one, it's going to be 1/2 inch. And then the next one's going to be 1.5 inches. And then it's going to be 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. So it should kind of look something like that. I'm then going to take my compass and I'm going to just make it smaller until the pencil lines up with that 1/2 inch mark that I made, kind of like that. I'm going to go ahead and draw my next circle. Just like that. I'm then going to make it smaller again. Draw the next one. And the last two. So it should look something like this now. Now that last circle that we drew, all these lines on the inside, we actually don't need them. So I'm going to go ahead and erase them. All right, so I want to take a moment and I'm actually going to label each pie slice all the way around. It doesn't really matter where you start. I don't care if you start with red here or red here, but they do need to go in proper order. And that information is on Canvas if you need it. I'm just going to go ahead and write it in. Red. Okay, so I just have them marked, and that's just so I don't forget where to put them. You can put that in much lighter if you want to erase it, but I don't really mind if you want to keep the names around there to help you remember. So what we're going to do now is we're going to kind of make a little quick reference guide in the center so we can remember our primaries and our secondaries, and then what we need to actually use to make our secondaries. So we're going to find our primaries, which is going to be yellow, blue, or cyan. I'll go ahead and write that here because some of us might be using a cyan. And then red or magenta. So we're going to start with yellow, blue or cyan, then red or magenta. And I'm going to follow that pie slice to the center, and I'm just going to kind of eyeball the center point of that pie slice. I'm just going to kind of guess where I think the center is. This one doesn't have to be too accurate. So I have these 3 points, and I'm going to go ahead and connect them. Just like that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find my secondaries. So that's going to be orange, green, and violet. So they are the colors that only have, other than the primaries, that only have one word, if that makes sense. So orange, green, and violet. And I'm going to do the same thing to start. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of follow that pie slice all the way down and kind of mark the center point. And then here it's going to get a little bit different because I'm not going to just connect them. I'm actually going to connect this point to the ends of that first triangle that we just did. And so the last part is I want to actually divide this kind of big triangle into 3 kind of little diamond shapes, and that's going to be where our 3 primaries kind of live. So to do that, I'm going to line my ruler up with this point right here and the center point. And then I'm just going to draw a line just from the center point to this line that makes the edge of the triangle. Just like that. So you should have only a line that goes from the center to right the edge of the triangle. And you're going to do the same thing for the other ones. So again, finding this point right here and lining up with the center. And then just drawing a line on the inside of that first triangle. And so that should give you 3 kind of diamond shapes with 3 larger triangles around it. On the inside of our color wheel. And so that's how you're going to do the layout for your color wheel.